You are here with By the Cover. Today we are going to be reviewing Bone White by Ronald Malfi. This book was 321 pages and took me 3 days to read. This review will contain spoilers, so if you don't want to hear those, go ahead and click off now. I would rate Bone White a 7 out of 10. It was pretty good. Some things that I really liked about this book: it had almost a perfect atmosphere of just winter isolation and also a depiction of a very small town in Alaska with interesting characters that live there. I also really liked the humor that was throughout the book, and the plot was pretty good as well. But as to what dragged the story down for me and made this kind of a subpar book, we have the primary character whose name is Paul and the secondary character whose name is Danny, and these are twins. And both of these characters are kind of the quintessential cookie cutter twin story. So you basically have one is good, one is bad, or so you think from the beginning. And there's just not a whole lot of meat on that bone. There's nothing that super well defines one versus the other than that. In other words, the primary character and the secondary character are not interesting, and Paul is not fun to be around for the most part. The author also repeats himself quite a bit in this book, which I always hate when authors do that. I do not need to read the same thing over and over. Trust that your readers are going to read it once and comprehend it or retain it, but don't just keep wasting my time with repeating the same thing over and over. Malfi also tends to be very overly descriptive in this book. One example is we have 6 pages for a cop to get from parking his car to the front door and inside to interview somebody that he's interested in interviewing. Then we spend another 10 pages in the interview just getting to the point of the interview. Another portion I strongly disliked is when Paul actually meets up with Danny, and he's basically in a delusionary state where he's slipping in and out of consciousness. So he'll slip into consciousness, he'll talk to his brother Danny, and he asks Danny the same questions over and over and over, and Danny doesn't really answer him. He's just cryptic until Paul slips back into unconsciousness, and then that cycle repeats like 4 or 5 times until he's actually awake, which was super annoying. Overall, I did like the book. I thought the plot was pretty decent. I really like the atmosphere, but I felt the book could probably be like 120 pages shorter and it would have been far better. So that's about it. We'll catch you later.